pioneering work. Always the individual of advancement and of poise has been able to do this intuiting and to concretize the idea. Groups of students, meditating synchronously, should now attempt to do the same. The effort to synchronize effort does not relate so much to the time element as to unity of intent and of purpose. There is to be found today in the realm of the intuition much of wonder. This can be contacted. It is now the privilege of the race to contact that rain cloud of knowable things, to which the ancient seer Patanjali refers in his fourth book. The race, through its many aspirants, can today precipitate this rain cloud, so that the brains of men everywhere can register the contact. Hitherto this has been the privilege of the illumined and seer. In this way the new age will be ushered in and the new knowledge will enter into the minds of humanity. This can be practically demonstrated, if those who are interested in this treatise on the seven rays can attune themselves to think clearly, and with a poised and illumined mind seek to understand what is relatively a new aspect of truth. In undertaking to reveal something anent the nature of the seven rays, I feel it necessary to remind all of you who take up this study that any speculation as to the emanating source of the rays must remain profitless until there is developed within each student that apparatus of response and that sensitive mechanism which will enable him to register a wider field of contacts than is at present possible. Many are as yet in the initial stage of registering an awareness of a field of expression which they know exists, the field of soul awareness, but which is not yet for them their normal field of expression. Many know a great deal about it, theoretically, but the practical effects of applied knowledge are not yet theirs. Many are conscious of consciousness, and are aware of the kingdom of the soul and of an occasional reaction to impression from that kingdom, but they are not yet consciousness itself, nor so identified with the soul that consciousness of all else drops away. To achieve that is their aim and objective. Let me also remind you that the career of the monad, an aspect of energy found on one or other of the three major rays, can be roughly divided into three parts, leading to a fourth. 1. A lower realization of the unity, which is the unit of the form nature. In this unity, the soul is so closely identified with the matter aspect that it sees no distinction, but is the form, and knows not itself as soul. This often reaches its height in some life of full personality expression, wherein the soul is completely centered in personality reactions. The lower life is so strong and vital that a powerful and material expression eventuates. 2. A subsequent and painful differentiation of the consciousness into a realized duality. In this condition, the man is distinctly aware of what is termed his essential duality. He knows he is spirit matter, is form life, and is the soul in manifestation. During this stage, which covers many lives and carries the man along the path of probation and discipleship as far as the third initiation, the center of gravity, if I may so express it, shifts steadily out of the form side and centers itself more and more in that of the soul. There is a growing consciousness that there is a reality which embraces, and at the same time extinguishes, duality. Remember that the entire story of evolution is the story of consciousness, and of a growing expansion of the becoming aware principle, so that from the microscopic interest of the self-conscious man, for we shall retain the parable within the confines of the fourth kingdom in nature, we have a slowly developing inclusiveness which finally leads him into the consciousness of the cosmic Christ. 3. The higher realization of unity follows upon this sense of duality, and in this final stage the sense of being soul and body is lost. The consciousness identifies itself with the indwelling life of the planet, and of the solar system. When this happens, there is the registering of a state of being which lies beyond word, mind and form expression of any kind. The great Jewish seer sought to convey these three stages in the words, I am that I am. He thus expressed them tritely and succinctly and adequately, had we but the development to know it. The third, however understood, defies expression, and hints at a fourth type of realization, which is that of deity itself, about which it profits us not to speculate. 2. Life quality appearance. In our study of the rays, it must therefore be remembered that we are dealing with life expression through the medium of matter form. The highest unity will be cognized only when this dual relation is perfected. The theory of the one life may be held, but I deal not basically with theory but with that which may be known, provided there is growth and intelligent application of truth. I deal with possibility, and with that which is capable of achievement. Many these days like to talk and think in terms of that one life, but it remains but speech and thought, whilst the true awareness of that essential unity remains a dream and an imagining. Whenever this reality is put into words, duality is emphasized, and the spiritual controversy, using the word in its basic meaning, and not in its ordinary warlike connotation, is enhanced. Take for example the words, I believe in the one life, or, to me, there is but one reality, and note how they are in their phraseology an expression of duality. Life cannot be expressed in words, nor can its realized perfection. The process of becoming, which leads to being, is a cosmic event, involving all forms, and no Son of God lies separated from that mutable process as yet. As long as he is in form he cannot know what life is, though, when he has attained certain steps and can function on the higher planes of the system in full awareness, he can begin to glimpse that awful reality. Certain great initiates, down the ages, have fulfilled their function of revealers, and have held before the eyes of the pioneering disciples of life the ideal of oneness and of unity. It has nevertheless been a matter of shifting the focus of attention progressively out of one form into another, and thus, from a higher standpoint, getting a fresh glimpse of a possible truth. Each age, and the present is no exception, has believed its grasp of reality and its sensitivity to the inner beauty to be greater and nearer the truth than was ever previously possible. The highest realization of what is termed the one life is the awareness of the initiate of high degree, of the embodied logos, of deity, and his identification with the consciousness of that stupendous creator who is seeking expression through the medium of the solar system. No initiate on the planet can identify himself with the consciousness of that identified being, in the esoteric sense of the term, who, speaking in the Bhagavad Gita, says, having pervaded the entire universe with the fragment of myself, I remain. These thoughts I commend to your consideration and to your careful pondering, begging you to see to it that there is a steady expansion of your sense of awareness, and a growing capacity to make understanding contacts with that emerging truth, reality and beauty which the universe declares. Guard yourself at the same time from mystical rhapsodies and the one life, which are apt to be no more than the negation of all mental apprehension and luxuriating in the sensuous perception of a highly developed and high-grade emotional nature. All our considerations therefore in this treatise on the seven rays will necessarily be held within the realm of thought, which involves awareness of duality. I shall employ the language of duality, and this I shall do, not because I seek to emphasize it to the neglect of unity, for this unity is to me somewhat of a reality, and I glimpse more than a possibility, but because all aspirants and disciples and all initiates up to the third initiation, as I earlier said, are swinging as a pendulum between the pairs of opposites, spirit and matter. I speak not here of the pairs of opposites of the astral or emotional plane, which are illusory reflections of the true pairs of opposites, but of the basic duality of manifestation. I seek to deal with that material which is of practical value, and which can be grasped by the illumined intelligence of the average man. It is necessary for all students, who seek illumination and a right apprehension of truth, to drop the emphasis so often laid upon certain aspects, and presentations of truth being spiritual, and others being mental. It is in the realm of so-called mind that the great principle of separateness is found. It is also in the realm of mind that the great at-one-ment is made. The words of the initiate Paul have here a fitting place, wherein he says, "Let this mind be in you which was also in Christ," and adds in another place that Christ had made, in himself, of twain, one new man. It is through the mind that theory is formulated, truth distinguished and deity apprehended. When we are more advanced upon the path, we shall see not but spirit everywhere, and the aphorism, enunciated by that great disciple, H.P.P., that matter is spirit at the lowest point of its cyclic activity, and spirit is matter on the seventh plane, or the highest, will be a realized fact in our consciousness. It is as yet but an intellectual phrase which means little except the enunciation of a truth, incapable of proof. Everything is an expression of a spiritual consciousness, which spiritualizes by its inherent life all matter forms. A grub or worm working out its little life in a mass of decaying substance is as much a spiritual manifestation, as an initiate, working out his destiny in a mass of rapidly changing human forms. It is all manifested deity. It is all divine expression, and all a form of sensitive awareness and of response to environment, and therefore a form of conscious expression. The seven rays are the first differentiation of the divine triplicity of spirit consciousness form, and they provide the entire field of expression for the manifested deity. We are told in the scriptures of the world that the interplay, or the relation between Father Spirit and Mother Matter produces eventually a third, which is the Son, or the consciousness aspect. That Son, the product of the two, is esoterically defined as the one who was third but is the second. The reason for this wording is that there first existed the two divine aspects, spirit matter, or matter impregnated with life, and it was only when these two realized their mutual unity, note the necessary ambiguity of that phrase, that the Son emerged. The esotericist, however, regards spirit matter as the first unity, and the Son therefore is the second factor. The Son, who is divine life incarnate in matter, and consequently the producer of the diversity and immensity of forms, is the embodiment of divine quality. We might therefore utilize for the sake of clarity the terms life quality appearance, as interchangeable with the more usual trinity of spirit soul body, or life consciousness form. I shall utilize the word life when referring to spirit, to energy, to the Father, to the first aspect of divinity, and to that essential dynamic electric fire which produces all that is, and is the sustaining, originating cause and source of all manifestation. I shall use the word appearance to express that which we call matter, or form, or objective expression. It is that illusory tangible outer appearance, which is animated by life. This is the third aspect, the mother, overshadowed and fertilized by the Holy Ghost, or life, united with intelligent substance. This is fire by friction, the friction brought about by life and matter and their interplay, and producing change and constant mutation. I shall use the word quality as expressive of the second aspect, the Son of God, the cosmic Christ incarnate in form, a form brought into